An event in a small Italian town in 1263 did not just shock the local community. It directly led to the establishment of one of the most important solemn feasts in the Catholic Church, the Feast of Corpus Christi. In the 13th century, theological debates about the Eucharist stirred profound questions among the faithful. This is a story of how one priest's crisis of belief in the Italian town of Bolsena led to what many believers describe as a miraculous affirmation that would resonate through centuries of Catholic tradition. To understand the full significance of what happened in Bolsena, we must first meet the man at the center of the story, a priest whose personal struggle will become the catalyst for something extraordinary. According to multiple historical accounts, the story begins with a German priest known as Peter of Prague. He is described in various sources as a devout but troubled clergyman undertaking a pilgrimage to Rome during the 13th century. Many records indicate he was grappling with what modern believers might call a crisis of faith, specifically regarding the Church's teaching on the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Father Peter's journey, as recounted in several historical documents, brought him to the town of Bolsena, located approximately 70 miles north of Rome. He is said to have chosen to celebrate Mass at the church dedicated to St. Christina, an early Christian martyr. What makes this moment particularly poignant, according to theological commentators, is that Father Peter was not openly hostile to church teaching, but rather deeply troubled by internal doubts, a spiritual state that many faithful can relate to even today. Various sources characterize this period as one of significant theological discussion about the nature of a Eucharist across Europe. Father Peter's personal struggle is often presented as mirroring broader questions that were circulating among both clergy and laity at the time. His story resonates because it begins not with perfect faith, but with honest human questioning. It was against this backdrop of doubt and searching that Father Peter approached the altar for what would become the most memorable Mass of his life. The pivotal event is said to have occurred in 1263 during Mass at the Bolsena Church. According to numerous accounts, as Father Peter reached the moment of consecration and began to break the host, something extraordinary happened. Multiple historical records describe a visible change occurring to the Eucharistic elements at that precise moment. Many witnesses reported seeing what appeared to be blood beginning to flow from the host, staining the linen corporal beneath it. The phenomenon is described in various sources as being both startling and unmistakable. Some accounts mention that droplets also fell upon the marble altar stone, leaving visible marks that believers later venerated. What makes this event particularly significant in historical records is Father Peter's immediate reaction. Rather than concealing what had occurred, he is reported to have interrupted the liturgy and sought guidance from church authorities. This response is often highlighted as demonstrating his fundamental integrity despite his previous doubts. The local bishop was promptly informed, and an investigation commenced. The physical evidence, the stained corporal and altar stone, became the focus of careful examination. This careful documentation process is mentioned across multiple historical sources as lending credibility to the event. The immediate aftermath of the event reveals something remarkable. Instead of hiding what happened, the priest openly confessed his doubts and sought guidance, a testament to his integrity. But the story doesn't end at the altar. What happened next would set in motion a chain of events that would capture the attention of the highest levels of the Church. The news of the Bolsena event is described as spreading rapidly through ecclesiastical channels. According to historical records, the local bishop conducted an initial investigation before referring the matter to higher authorities. The incident was considered sufficiently significant to warrant attention at the highest levels of the Church. Pope Urban IV, who was residing in nearby Orvieto at the time, is reported to have taken personal interest in the matter. Multiple sources indicate he dispatched official delegates to Bolsena to conduct a thorough examination of both the physical evidence and the eyewitness accounts. This formal investigation process is documented in several historical records. The corporal bearing the distinctive stains was eventually transported to Orvieto with great ceremony. Many contemporary accounts describe a solemn procession accompanying the relic, with clergy and laity alike participating in what was perceived as a moment of profound spiritual significance. This transfer marked the beginning of the relic's veneration in its new home. The Pope's involvement did not end with the investigation. According to church historians, Urban IV was deeply moved by both the event itself and the widespread devotion it inspired among the faithful. This personal engagement is often cited as a catalyst for his subsequent actions regarding the establishment of a new feast day. This wasn't just a local curiosity. The news traveled so rapidly that it reached the Pope himself, who took the extraordinary step of launching a formal investigation. The Church's response to this event wasn't limited to investigation and preservation. It would ultimately inspire one of the most significant liturgical developments in Catholic history. The Bolsena event is widely recognized by historians as having direct influence on one of the most important developments in medieval liturgy, the establishment of the Feast of Corpus Christi. In 1264, Pope Urban IV issued the papal bull Transituris de Hoc Mundo, which formally instituted the celebration for the Universal Church. Historical sources consistently link the timing and impetus for this decision to the Bolsena miracle. The Pope is described as seeing in this event a divine affirmation of the Church's teaching on the real presence, making it an opportune moment to establish a feast dedicated specifically to the Eucharist. This connection is well documented across multiple historical records. The new feast required liturgical texts, and Urban IV entrusted this task to one of the greatest theological minds of the age, Thomas Aquinas. The hymns and prayers composed by Aquinas, including the sequence Lauda Shaun and the hymn Pange Lingua, remain integral to Corpus Christi celebrations to this day. Their profound theological depth is often cited as giving the feast both intellectual and devotional richness. The establishment of Corpus Christi represented more than just a new liturgical observance. Church historians note that it served to crystallize and celebrate Eucharistic theology in a way that was accessible to all the faithful, reinforcing doctrine through liturgy, procession, and popular devotion. The Bolsena event directly inspired one of the most beautiful liturgical developments in church history, a feast that continues to be celebrated worldwide nearly 800 years later. While the theological impact was immediate, the physical legacy of that day in Bolsena continues to inspire devotion and pilgrimage centuries later. The material legacy of the Bolsena miracle continues to be venerated today. The linen corporal is preserved in the Cathedral of Orvieto, housed in a magnificent chapel specifically designed for its display. The cathedral itself, begun shortly after these events, is often interpreted as being built in part to provide a worthy setting for this revered relic. In Bolsena, the stone altar upon which the Mass was celebrated also became an object of veneration. The Church of St. Christina continues to draw pilgrims who come to see the place where this event is believed to have occurred. Both sites maintain active pilgrimage traditions nearly 8 centuries later. The ongoing significance of the Bolsena story lies not only in its historical impact, but in its continued relevance to questions of faith and doubt. Many contemporary spiritual writers point to Father Peter's experience as demonstrating that doubt can be part of a genuine faith journey, rather than its opposite. The miracle is also frequently referenced in modern catechesis on the Eucharist. It serves as a tangible historical reference point for teaching about the real presence, providing a narrative framework that complements theological explanation. This dual function, as both devotional inspiration and teaching tool, ensures its continued importance in Catholic tradition. Today, pilgrims can still visit both the original site in Bolsena and the magnificent cathedral built to house the sacred relic, a living connection to this profound moment in history. The story of Bolsena, as documented across centuries of historical and ecclesiastical records, represents what many believers perceive as a profound moment of divine affirmation. Multiple sources converge on its essential elements: a pre-sincere struggle with doubt, an extraordinary event during Mass that is described as strengthening faith in the Eucharist, and its lasting impact through the establishment of Corpus Christi. This narrative continues to be seen by many as a testament to how moments of personal uncertainty can, in the perspective of faith, become sources of spiritual renewal and theological clarity for the entire Church. The enduring veneration of the Bolsena relics and continued celebration of this feast worldwide stand as a powerful reminder of the Eucharist's central place in Catholic life and devotion. If you found this journey into one of Catholicism's most documented Eucharistic miracles meaningful, consider subscribing to our channel for more explorations of faith, history, and tradition. If this story resonated with you or strengthened your appreciation for the Eucharist, please like this video to help others discover it. This is a story that has inspired believers for centuries. Share it with someone who might find comfort in knowing that even saints and priests have experienced doubts, and that faith can be strengthened through questioning. We'd love to hear your perspective. Have you ever visited Bolsena or Orvieto? What aspects of this story resonate most with your own faith journey? Share your thoughts in the comments below. May the peace and presence of Christ in the Eucharist be with you always.